So here in East Texas, the temperatures did not get into the triple digits today. So what did I do? Like any good East Texan, I went out for a walk to enjoy the cooler weather of 98 degrees. And while I was on my walk, a very interesting vehicle passed me. A Toyota Prius V. Yes, the wagon version of the Prius. And I've been around the block long enough to remember that, well, there used to be a whole family of Prius vehicles planned by Toyota, almost a sub-brand unto itself, but never a full-on sub-brand. You had the V-Wagon, you had the traditional Prius, and then the Prius C, the smaller commuter Prius of the lineup. So that got me to thinking, well, that didn't really last long. And the Toyota Prius in a modern lineup has got a bit of a problem because everything in the Toyota lineup is now a hybrid. That was kind of the Prius's thing. So I came back from my walk and I wrote this article. The Toyota Prius has a problem. Everything else in the Toyota showroom has a hybrid option or is exclusively hybrid, which does present a problem. The first generation Prius was an ugly, gangly little thing that made a statement about the person driving it, and just in its own existence. It was awkward and unique, quirky and fun. It was the Prius hybrid. It was Toyota's hybrid. It was the hybrid of the early 2000s. And then, well, Toyota started making more and more of their vehicles with hybrid options. And then, the current situation, more and more Toyota vehicles became hybrid only. So yes, Camry, now hybrid only. RAV4, hybrid only. The Sienna Sequoia, hybrid only. The Highlander, well, it was a hybrid, but not hybrid only. But now it's all electric. So yes, Toyota's really leaning into electrification in its lineup. But I am very curious about what the brand was saying in the 2011 timeframe when this whole family of Prius models really started to take shape. And that got me digging down memory lane. Do you remember this guy? I particularly love loud colors, so this Prius C particularly caught my eye. But this was supposed to be the entry into the Prius family of brands, the most affordable, the smallest, most maneuverable, the easiest to financially get into in the Prius family of brands. Up from there, you had the traditional Prius, and then that V-Wagon that really started my brain down this path in the first place. And that's really where Toyota left it. It was a Prius for every life stage, a commuter vehicle, the everyman vehicle, and then the bigger wagon for if you needed more space. And that uncovered some very interesting marketing techniques and tactics that Toyota used in that 2011 timeframe. Did you know Toyota ran an ad campaign, including a very catchy little jingle on YouTube, trying to explain what the plural of Prius is? In fact, they allowed the populace to vote on it on a dedicated webpage that sadly, when you click on it now, well, it takes you to the Toyota Hybrid Cars website. So that's a little unfortunate. But going back to our story, yes, they do have this fun jingle that I did link to in the article, but I'm not going to play it so that we don't get copyright stricken here. But you can see they had a lot of fun with the whole plurality thing, uh, really leaning into the English language. And yes, asking the question, what would more than one Prius be? Very interesting, fun campaign for the time.
I just put my screen protector on this Ford screen. I'll put a link down below. It's screen protect/Tim. you get 15% off this screen protector. Put it on here, and the dash here keeps these screens nice. Actually covers up scratches as well if you have an older truck, and I really like them. It's a nice way to protect your screen from scratches, and it puts a nice cover on there, so keeps dust off, fingerprints off. Big fan of these screens. Again, Screen Protect/Tim.
But alas, I did think in my brain, not having been an automotive journalist at the time, that Toyota was going to spin it into its own sub-brand. That seems to be all the rage right now. Corvette may or may not be a sub-brand of Chevrolet, and we're seeing that across other automakers doing these sub-brands. The whole Hummer sub-brand of GMC. Come to think of it, this may just be a General Motors thing. But in a 2011 article with Car and Driver, Toyota said, no, the Prius name is just too important for it to leave Toyota altogether. Alas, they came up with the Prius family of vehicles. And you can see in 2012, according to goodcarbadcar.com, 200,000 Prius models were sold in the peak of Priusdom. Yeah, there are a bunch of adjectives here that, well, we can just make it up as we go, right? That is a very significant mark. That is a very important vehicle in any automaker's lineup. Well, that is unless you're the Chevy Malibu, and then you just get the Axe because reasons. But then Toyota started putting its hybrid technology in everything, like everything. Even the Tundra and Sequoia full-size body-on-frame rigs are now hybridized, though not for fuel economy, more so for low-end grunt. But the best-selling vehicle from Toyota, the RAV4, exclusively hybrid for the 26 model year. The Toyota Camry, exclusively hybrid from the 25 model year. The current Sienna minivan, exclusively hybrid for the foreseeable future. And the list goes on and on. So many hybrids within the Toyota lineup that the Prius is kind of losing its cachet, its effectiveness, its shtick. For so long, the Toyota Prius was the Toyota hybrid. Then it was a hybrid, and now it's the forgotten hybrid. So it is a little sad to see something that looks as good as the modern Prius does to kind of waste away on the vine because, well, a Camry is bigger and more practical, but does get a little less on the fuel economy ratings from the government. But you've got a traditional trunk, you've got more space, more rear headroom, works more for modern families. The RAV4, well, the crossovers are absolutely hot right now. So hot that Toyota can't make the RAV4 fast enough to meet demand. So naturally, making that all hybrid, again, kind of takes away some of the whole selling point of the Prius. And I, along with many other in the automotive industry, have dubbed the current Prius the sexy Prius, coming off of perhaps its worst styling since its first generation. This current Prius is a looker from all angles, but it is not making the same amount of sales. With every vehicle in the Toyota showroom having a hybrid option or being exclusively hybrid, thereabouts, you can see that for 2025, 56,000 Prius models left the showroom. Yes, we've said goodbye to the affordable Prius C. We've said goodbye to the Prius wagon. And Toyota has even merged the Prius Prime into just calling it the plug-in hybrid Prius. So really, it's just the same Prius with the plug. But yes, you can see here with the RAV4 numbers climbing near 500,000 units annually, a tenth of that from a Prius hybrid really doesn't make a strong business case for itself anymore. But the Prius is still so good. We had one here recently. We had the plug-in hybrid, and we've had the non-plug-in hybrid. The plug-in, well, you can drive that exclusively on electric power until it becomes a traditional hybrid just like anything else. The regular hybrid saves you a little more money right off the bat, a little less complex system, but it too is equally as good. But alas, a Prius wouldn't be a Prius without a few quirks. And its steering wheel gauge setup seems to be what Toyota has said, well, this will be the quirk of the current generation Prius, giving you that screen that is practically in the dash, this tiny steering wheel that you have to peer over to even see that screen. Yes, everything else feels modern, new, and fun, but you get a very old-looking graphic interface on that screen up by the dash. But all of that was still good enough to be named Motor Trend's 2024 Car of the Year when it was introduced. Here today in 2026, that family of brands has completed its mission. It isn't a failure, it isn't a flop, but Toyota did not need to turn the Prius into its own sub-brand, but rather it turned the Toyota brand into everything the Prius family of vehicles promised it could be. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure and click that logo and subscribe to the channel. If you want to see another video from us here at We Talk Cars, click that one right there because YouTube thinks you'll like it. Till next time, I'll see you down the road.